behind you. Kindar passive, back on connector, peeks and swings and closes. Team Liquid with a dismantling of the FaZe clan.
Better be the best CT here, boys.
How did this happen? FaZe might have pulled off the best comeback in any S-tier event after being down 1-11 to winning the game in overtime. Liquid are on match point, and this means FaZe has to be perfect for 9 more rounds, just to bring the game back into overtime. This round should not be a round FaZe wins, as they have a lower buy, both in the gun department and the utility department, versus Liquid who has a lot of utility and way better guns. FaZe are going for a setup with 2 players in middle early who will look and watch over mid, until Liquid start using all of their utility in middle. 2 on A, playing an odd setup of 1 on stairs and 1 on the balcony. The under balcony position is one that FaZe will use a lot in this game, since it's a position that allows you to have a lot of control towards ramp and palace, but it as well leaves you very open to executes and utility like molotovs that can be thrown from ramp or like this from palace. But as a position, it's not bad. But you would want to see a player in CT towards ticket when you have a player under the balcony, to relieve some of the stress from that player. And then 1 solo player on B. The solo B player is as well one of the players who don't have a rifle on FaZe. And here we can see Kerrigan jumps up to apps and hides in this off angle, since this angle is a good way to listen to any sound from apps, but as well give you a good chance of getting 1 or even 2 kills before being traded. Let's look into all of this and how FaZe are playing their default. Rops is one of the 2 players who starts in window spot by spamming the top mid smoke in hope of hitting any players using this smoke to cross to top middle. But Liquid are quick to smoke them off, and this means Rops needs to move out of the window, since he has no nades or anything to be useful in window. And here Rops stays in jungle, watching for any Liquid player walking out of ramp or window, as well as using the stairs player as bait, so when he makes sound, it could force Liquid to swing stairs from con, and here Rops will be able to get them. Frozen has the FaMAS, and is the dedicated palace player, where he will play under palace in this spot right here. This is quite a risky spot, but it's why he has the smoke and is not using it, in case he gets molotoved out. Here he is playing on the ladder, to be able to maybe do something like this.
Tremendous, job of doing so. Drop step, trying to find 2 on the ladder. How has he done that?
Since this FaMAS in close range is much better than if he had a FaMAS long range. Then he uses the ladder to peek palace opening and gives him an opportunity to fall off while spotting, since if you're on top of palace, falling off is almost impossible. Rain will start the default with 2 mid flashes, thrown like this over connector, just to blind any Liquid player swinging middle. The flash as well signals to Liquid that FaZe might want to fight for mid control, something we know FaZe will soon give up. But this is all to condition Liquid to think FaZe are more active in mid than they really are. As soon as Rops calls CS jungle, Rain uses this opportunity to peek ramp from top stairs, since this is a powerful peek, gives you full vision of ramp and early information to FaZe, since as a palace player, when peeking out, you will first peek and look into jungle, giving Rain that extra protection from any peaks that the Rops is now holding it for. And Rain will be switching between con and ramp as soon as Rops is switching between palace and window. Great team play. Brokey starts in window as well, and just like Rops, he will be spamming and then falling back when he is smoked. Here we'll go out of the vents and line up this smoke for palace, and I love how he is the player to smoke and not any of the site players, since when you are lacking in the utility, it's good to have the site players that keep their utility, and then rather have Brokey, who right now is a rotator, use his. And the lineup is easy to learn, as well as then Brokey will go CT to reinforce the under palace player's position. Liquid has done a big mistake, and that is not using all of the utility in middle properly, since in these rounds, where the goal is to go to one site, like A, while you want to take some other map control, like having a lurker going towards middle or apps, just to understand how the enemy are set up. But the way Liquid is approaching this round tells us that they are ready to go in blind to the site versus FaZe. Liquid pops the default utility for the site take, but by now FaZe are 4 players ready to defend. So with the lower buy and utility, how will FaZe even defend this? Since from Liquid it looks perfect, with a Mech-10 going out first, and the spacing and pacing from the 5 Liquid players is very good. Well, let's break it down from the FaZe player's perspective. Rops is a master at walking out of smokes. Just look at my latest video where I mentioned how good he is at this. And when the T goes for the execute of using 1 smoke stairs and 1 under stairs, well, you want to molotov this spot so the CTs can't walk out of it, since as the T you need to clear so much, and here the walkout is usually overlooked. And when Rops can't hear a molotov used next to the smoke, he uses this to his advantage, as well as the smoke being thrown by Frozen makes it so Rops only have to watch for ramp, and any players coming out of ramp towards site. He walks out and finds 2 kills not looking at him, and crucial information. Frozen uses this smoke for the execute, and this is key. This sets up all the other players, and even though Frozen does not get any kills, he allows both Brokey and Rop to find 2 kills each by just smoking here. When the execute happens and Frozen smokes and dies, Brokey will then push out of CT and into this spot, a very good spot to force the T out in the open to even fight you, as well as set your team up for success. And the smoke from Frozen in Palace is out enough so he does not have to worry about anyone peeking him from Palace. He kinda goes for a sandwich peek, and here Brokey can get one free kill. Then understanding his time is up, he jumps up and finds one more kill. A crucial kill to make sure FaZe are going into the rest of the round in a 3v3 and not a 3v4. Kerrigan as the B anchor will quickly walk back and cover CT, since that has been left open when Brokey walked into site. And here he will just chill and make sure ultimate in the 2v1 can't walk out to CT. Rain will mainly just spam the smoke. His goal is to stay alive, do damage and wait for Kerrigan. And in the 2v1, he will reposition in an off angle on catwalk to hold for ultimate's reposition, as ultimate is spotted on A site. And Kerrigan can hold for any players planting or pushing CT. So for Rain it's all about getting catwalk done. This will make sure ultimate can't go jungle, and if he goes apps, Rain has an easy way to rotate over to site before ultimate can plant, or just hear him running, and here the reposition pays off as Rain finds ultimate. This rush was stopped by some well-timed peeks and a great kills and trades, and I love that in the 2v1, FaZe splits up, but not really, since Rain will walk too short to take long-range fights, allowing Kerrigan and CT to just hide and wait for Rain's contact. And we can hear from the comms of FaZe Clan, check out Kerrigan's video, that Kerrigan is asking Rain if ultimate is committing.
He's committing?
I don't know.
He has bomb in them.
This already tells us how FaZe will play this round, when Kerrigan is just waiting for the commitment, while Rain jobs will be to try to find ultimate when he is committing, and here the read from FaZe is perfect.
Timing to go jungle with him.
Yeah. Hold him behind jungle. I'm sure they're picking CT on jungle. Like, one. Nice!
You're up close, Yakindar's gonna go swinging with his MAC-10, and as he does, he takes a head off. Brokey's position now known. There is still a chance here for FaZe to hang on as they go up 3v2 and extend it. Or does Ultimate, the kid out of nowhere, step forward with another clutch?
Round 19 and FaZe still has to be perfect. One missed call or one wrong read, and FaZe will not be going to the playoffs. And something you have to remember is that you just can't play a default setup and bring the old stuff to the event, as most teams have studied FaZe over the past months. So they will be ready for this. And this is the reason why Kerrigan talked about how they have thrown out the playbook and are going into all of these rounds with Kerrigan micromanaging them. And so far it's working, but FaZe still needs to win 6 more rounds. And in round 19, they are going into a turning point for the match. Liquid's economy is quite bad, looking like what Argentina has to struggle with right now, common Javier W. But their economy are not ideal. And if they lose this round, an eco is on the horizon and maybe even a save after that. And by then, FaZe are in striking distance of trying to close this game up. So it's not looking too dark for FaZe. And they know this themselves. FaZe starts in a 1-2-2 setup, where we will see one player early on A site playing safe towards CT. 2 in middle, who will boost one player up in ladder room, and the other fall off from middle, and then 2 on B side with one going to short and the other holding apps. While Liquid are going for a 4-1 setup, where we can see their goal are to win mid control, and here they will use some flashes and smoke top mid and window to achieve this. So how can FaZe deal with this mid push from Liquid? Well, they actually will give Liquid mid, and super early in the match. This is the meta changing strats FaZe has to bring to the table to win these matches. But let's look over the FaZe players and how they will play this midless setup. And as a keynote here, FaZe leaves some utility in spawn, keep that in mind. Kerrigan early will use this Molotov here to make sure any fast pushes from Liquid will be impossible, unless they want to smoke and show their hand to FaZe. As well as early on FaZe are 3 players focusing middle, so being pushed on B is never ideal. And why Kerrigan will use this Molotov right here, and then he will go to the best part of being a B anchor, and that is jump spotting towards apps. That's a joke, it's the reason I never play this role. And here he jump spot in many different ways. The reason he goes for the wide jumps from right to left is that he reduces the airtime in the air when jumping, since the ground is slated upwards. And that is why he goes for these long jumps from right to left. Then he goes for these smaller jumps on the side, since they give you vision all the way through apps and opening for the T side. Then Kerrigan's protocol will tell him around the minute mark, and no calls about where Liquid is, he will smoke, and then wait to jump up, and as you can see, as soon as the smoke blooms, Liquid will go for the spam and why Kerrigan waited. Rain starts by leaving a nade in spawn, and leaving utility is a new strat now that you can drop utility. And this is a good way to help on retakes, since if Rain thinks he might not be using this nade, instead of keeping it in his inventory and dying with it, he can rather drop it off in spawn for someone to use it later. Rain will use this smoke for bottom connector and bench control. This sets up his short player. Then Rain will be boosted into ladder room to help the short player of FaZe, as window is smoked. Rain and Robs uses this combo when under his Molotov. FaZe can use a nade on the window smoke that leaves this small gap for Rain to peek the right side of window, since the Molotov bottom mid will either force any Liquid players underground to stay underground or push into this corner right here. Then Rain will hold for any players going into window, and when Frozen is being tagged low, Rain will come to the rescue and kill Ykinder. Rob starts in window, where as soon as he is smoked, he will use this Molotov in bottom middle, then line up this nade for Rain to play off, and here the bottom mid play from FaZe in this round can be made into a video itself, since there are so many moving parts, like the smoke Rain through, and now with the Molotov will force any players bottom mid to go to this corner, where FaZe wants to use the nade and smoke combo to peek them. Then Robs will re-smoke con and go to A side and help the A side player, who has been alone on site so far. When Rain gets the kill on Ykinder, Robs will go back into window and into this off angle, since he knows Liquid will try to trade back Rain. And this angle makes sure Liquid can't just walk into window to pinch Rain in ladder room. And here we see early on that FaZe knows Liquid has a player underground,
Under one.
and it's why Robson Rain goes for this Tekken-like combo underground to try to find his player. Frozen will be FaZe resident on short, and here he has a crucial job. The first is bottom mid control, and as we can see, he is peeking close catwalk for the corner peek, bench when the smoke fades, and then chair. And it's not ideal to have one player focusing all of this, and that's why FaZe has Rain in ladder room holding with him, in case he has to run away. And then his other job will be to listen towards apps, if he can hear anything there for Kerrigan. This will help Kerrigan in managing his utility and solo behold. When he gets shot low, he will fall back while being very careful not to give up himself to Liquid, since Liquid would want to get this kill on him now that he's low, and just look how he holds everything all the way to bench. Brokey starts early with a ramp Molotov, and for you to learn something in this video, the ramp Molotov is thrown quite different than in CSGO, since in CSGO you would aim here to throw the Molotov, but due to how the Molotov work in CS2, this might leave an opening for the T to use and lurk out of, and that is why Brokey throws the Molotov much deeper than we would do in CSGO. Then he nades behind it in case Liquid has a player who had to fall back from ramp because of the deep Molotov. This nade is perfect for that. And then Brokey, since he's alone, will go back to CT and hold A safely from there. Then after using all of his utility, he will walk back to spawn and pick up another Molotov and flash, since as a solo player, he needs as much utility as possible. But where are some issues in this mid-round phase? Well, let's start with Liquid and some crucial mistakes they are making this round. First are the fact that they can't find free kills FaZe are giving them. And it all starts with Ykinder not being able to kill Frozen on short, giving FaZe crucial information and setting up FaZe game plan. As Frozen gets low and fall off, will force Ykinder to take short. And as we know by Liquid's setup, a short take has to happen, as Liquid are going for a B split. And this will activate Rain in ladder room. Rain finds Ykinder, who again does a lot of damage, but is not rewarded with any kills. And Ykinder's cross replacement is to blame here versus Rain, as he is aiming too low and too much to the left side. Here it's better to clear everything slowly, as Liquid has a lot more time to play with. These misses on 2 crucial kills and the loss of Ykinder combined with the smoke from Kerrigan is stopping Liquid completely. As well as this lurk from Twist is not too ideal either, since if Liquid decides to put the brakes on or rotate to A, Twist has to stay alive for way too long. And as a lurker who is right now stuck in connector, it's never ideal. As well as on the execute towards B, Liquid are just playing it wrong, and that might be because the whole game plan was to have short control. And now that you don't have that, you will see issues in the strats, like the amazing Molotov play by Liquid, with a Molotov bench and backside. Look at Kerrigan, he is allowed to be hit by the Molotov and cross to the other pillar, without being seen or shot at. Here Liquid needed to have a short player holding or someone from apps holding. And this makes the Molotov almost useless, especially now that Kerrigan in the reposition can find 1 kill and stay alive. And here we need to talk about Twist. In all of this, he is stuck in con, a spot where he right now can't have impact in, and the clock is ticking. Twist finds Rain, but at that point we have to ask, is that even good? Rain had like 1 HP. This gives away the whole lurk and plan of him being the backstabber, now that he will be held for and Liquid will easily be stuck on site. Twist is found but Frozen gets burned into a crisp, so it's just Kerrigan left on site, with rotations right around the corner. Here ultimate with the bomb will jump down and makes a lot of sound, so Kerrigan will be ready, as well as the peak ultimate goes for is just bad, since he has the bomb. If he dies, well, it will not help Liquid, since picking up the bomb might be too hard then the peak he goes for gives Kerrigan the shadow advantage, and Kerrigan already had that when ultimate jumped down, and Kerrigan finds 1 kill, as well as Naf is found, and this leaves JKS in a spot that is impossible to 1v3 from. JKS understands and tries to reposition, but FaZe are not giving him anything, as we can hear Rain calling.
That's this guy?
Could be bench, could be bench. Could be there.
No?
And here Kerrigan finds his second kill of the round, and FaZe are back in the driver's seat.
We go 3v3 and it's all on Kerrigan. As the calls have been bested, he has to stand tall, and alongside Rops he will. JKS looking for another huge clutch, but it's 8 seconds, and surely that's not enough.
FaZe are still in the same setup as last round we broke down, with 1 on A, 2 in middle and 2 on B side. So I will not go over this default, as it's very similar. Only change is that after Liquid smokes window, FaZe are not going into ladder room, but rather both window players walking towards jungle. But key is this default is how FaZe has changed who plays where, with Brokey being in mid now and Rain on A side, as Brokey was way more passive on A alone, while Rain will be much more aggressive towards site. But I think we should explain this much more aggressive approach to A side from FaZe. Rain will early on Molotov ramp, still using this deep one to do so. Then he will flash over middle. This is the default of all the A players FaZe has who are soloing A site. Then Rain will quickly from triple hold if Liquid are pushing the Molotov. And after it burned for around 1 second, Rain will move towards site and here use a deep nade in case any Ts are hiding behind the Molotov. Then he uses the fact that the Molotov is still burning to use this smoke in Palace, since to throw this you are in the open, and that's not ideal, but since the Molotov is still up, he can do this safely. After this, he goes to Palace to hold if any players will walk out of the smoke, since FaZe still has some mid players, and very rarely will Liquid Molotov top Palace, since they usually Molotovs under Palace instead. FaZe will even re-smoke Palace to allow Rain to rotate down again and play default site. And Rain only does this position change when he has more players focusing A site. Rops will start in window before he is smoked off, and he quickly Molotovs under window and goes to con with this smoke. This will allow you to not be pushed in con as easily and can set up some nice angles to fight towards catwalk from con. As well as this smoke is far enough out so he can go for this nade top middle without being spotted. Not even an AWP boosted up on short can see you in this smoke. And this nade, as long as it does over 12 damage, it's worth it. Boom, it does 19. Meaning a Kinder can be a one-shot headshot kill. This is crucial. FaZe gives full mid control to Liquid with having 3 players on A and 2 on B. And here FaZe plays it perfect, as FaZe can give up middle, but as long as they are not giving Liquid anything, all of this mid control is useless for Liquid. Since now for Liquid, to take site, they will have to either abort mid and go for B apps or A ramp, or use con and short to walk off. And from both positions, the CTs has better odds in holding off Liquid from site. Time's ticking for Liquid. As we can hear, FaZe makes this suggestion.
Playing really slow.
Liquid might be playing slow. Liquid decides to walk up to connector, and here Twist misplays it by showing some of his arm walking to the right side of con. Or for Brokey, the left side. And Brokey spots him.
Con
Last
one.
one,
Left side con. Should be A. 2 mid. Con walking up.
Giving FaZe a clear indication that Liquid will do something with the con control. And here Brokey can be this far pushed up, since he got Rain, who can always trade or just hold for any A-side pushes from Palace and ramp. Brokey misses a crucial kill. But this is some good information to FaZe, and here we need to go POV again to explain how FaZe now will win back mid control and force Liquid into unfavorable fights. Rain on the execute is here, middle of site, and will take the first fight against Liquid from site, the middle of it. And for all of this, I need to pull off the minimap, so you can see why this is so hard for Liquid to play versus. Let me put Rain, Rops and Frozen in. This red bubble is Liquid. Rain and Brokey takes first contact. So here Liquid will have their crosshair and focus here. Keep this in mind. That is why Rain, as soon as he makes contact, repositions to under Palace again. On this contact, Frozen from short will start spamming the con player. And here he is allowed to do this after Liquid failed the Molotov short. And this now puts Liquid's crosshair here. Still towards Rain and now towards short. Perfect to split the attention of Liquid, who are cramped and stressed into con. And on all of this, when Liquid are focusing these 2 spots, Rops will walk out of the smoke and here find 2 kills. And just like that, Liquid has 3 players left, 2 in con and 1 in ramp. And here if the Brokey fought connector, he will walk back into CT and hold for the ramp player pushing, leaving the con players with nowhere to even go. Rain can find a Kinder, as well as a Kinder was fully focusing to trade back Rops. And a confident Rops swings con and finds the last player from Liquid there. As well as Rain spots the ramp player and still goes to kill Kinder, knowing Brokey with the AWP can deal with this player pushing him down. Let's respect the beauty of this hold by synchronizing how Frozen, Rops and Rain held off Liquid. Enjoy! This was a peak of a hold. Liquid had no break, no idea where the next peak would come from. All of this since FaZe gave Liquid mid control to force Liquid to run a slow approach to take middle, allowing FaZe to force Liquid to waste time, and when they had to execute, they would not have enough time to hold, clear, and work together at all.
Fires off 8 shots without hitting one. The jungle peaks perfection. Rob slides out with a double. And then as he tries to fall back, Rain's got that cover provided. This one is excellence from FaZe.
Okay.
I have no chance, boys.
FaZe early on are going 2 players in middle with Brokey on a good spawn going for this jump, while one staying back to just spam top middle so Liquid are not expecting the jump from Brokey. Then 1 on B anchoring down the site and 2 on A site. So a somewhat default setup from FaZe, while Liquid feeling the pressure, remembering that this was a 11-1 scoreline at some point. If Liquid loses this, they are guaranteeing FaZe gets a last round and overtime. Liquid are going for 1 in middle, 2 on B and 2 on A. A much slower and less mid-heavy setup, something completely different from how they have played this whole T-side so far. But we're seeing some glimpse of the FaZe we have seen this whole match, with Kerrigan back to Molotov deep apps and then nading behind it, and here he hits ultimate for 20 damage. Perfect nade. And Frozen is back towards Palace, with Rain holding for him, but stop. Are you seeing what I'm seeing? We are seeing Rain using the AWP, player that all of his teammates said should not AWP, and players who are not even on his team said the same.
In your opinion, which player should never pick up the AWP?
Me. Rain, definitely Rain. That is a disaster sometimes. So he's not even a 5th AWP, he's the 6th AWP on the team.
Rain.
I'd have to say Rain, because his rifle and pistols are insane, and I've never seen him mob before, and I don't think you should pick it up.
But let's dive deeper into this setup from FaZe. Rain, as said, has to AWP out. This is since Brokey wanted to be aggressive in middle, and for the rounds we broke down, Brokey has not really been in middle at all, and rather been the A anchor with the AWP. And here we can see Rain starts in CT with an M4 in hands, but drops it there and runs to spawn to pick up the AWP. The reason he does it like this is in case Liquid pushes, he is ready to hold so Frozen can go under Palace before Rain will run back to spawn and pick up the AWP. And Rain will keep the AWP until he wants to go more aggressive towards site. He will then ditch the AWP and go for the M4 back. Kerrigan, after using the utility, goes to this off angle, since if Liquid are to push apps, he will not be checked. Let me show you. When peeking and clearing here, the first player will peek like this, not where Kerrigan is holding from, and the second will jump out and here will either clear Kerrigan and die to Brokey, or clear Brokey and die to Kerrigan. And since Brokey is so far back on short, Kerrigan can hold here and let Brokey take first contact. Frozen will start the round by juggling utility to ticket, and then him and Rain will play together so Rain can set him up for plays, if needed, before using the delayed Molotov Rain throws in ramp to walk up towards Palace. And usually you are not shift walking here at all, but Frozen will do this since he is so late and can easily be heard by a Palace player if he pushes up here. Since as showed on the map, by stepping here, this is where the Palace player will be able to hear you. And let's do a test. How fast does the T have to be here Frozen? And as you can see, the T will just be fast enough to hear these steps from Frozen, and that is why he shifts walk here as soon as he is about to cross to under Palace. Then he goes up here in this off angle, and again, if Rops are holding Palace, Liquid will focus him, and not this position from Frozen. FaZe has as well gone for this underground smoke to stop any mid takes early from Liquid, since as we have seen, they love to take top mid and bottom mid at the same time. This smoke combined with Liquid not having any top mid players makes it impossible for them to go through it and even try to take mid control. FaZe smokes bottom con and Palace, anticipating an execute from Liquid, where Liquid meets this with a trusted top con smoke and window smoke, and Liquid strikes gold, as Frozen wants to take ramp control and here Rain flashes him into ramp like this. But it's too early, and JKS hearing this flash will peek out and find the first kill of the round. Not ideal.
Who is looking to take a risk, but that is Frozen in towards ramp. It's a 5 versus 4.
But FaZe are going back to a very common hold of Rain mid site and Rops towards con. On all of this utility and the death of Frozen, Kerrigan and Brokey are fast to rotate. So how does FaZe win this? Rain is back to mid of site, and here he wants to play off the information and contact Rops can make, as well as Liquid is not smoking under stairs, so we will see what we saw in round 16, where with very little utility towards site, crossing is almost impossible, giving Rain a lot of information and room to play with. Some flashes are thrown over site, and you can see Rain does not want to peek before them. As he is about to peek, then falls back, and with Rops cleaning up, Rain will not be checked and can find a kill in sandwich and then ramp. Kerrigan on the rotate uses this smoke towards apps just to make it harder for Liquid to push out, and yes, if Liquid had a player in apps, they would have heard Kerrigan run, but since the smoke blocks out information, they cannot know how many players are on B. Then Kerrigan will go to CT as that is left open, and here he will find a flash that is dropped and use it for Liquid's push. Rops before the execute is holding here, in case Liquid has a player going into con and wants to go to this cheeky angle. And on the execute, he will walk up on stairs as Rain is calling that Liquid are pushing out, and Liquid are not looking here, as he can find one kill in Apex, fall back just in time for when the smoke in con fades, and he finds Twist. Broky and Execute will go here and use this flash over, an amazing flash to blind any players walking up from ramp, and this is the first flash Rain hides from. And Rob's peeks on. As in Rob's position, this flash will not blind him at all, as well as him then being fast to hold Palace for any Liquid players walking out of it. And with Liquid losing all of their players and Bomb leaves Ultimate with 18 seconds and nothing to do. I think it's odd how he did not go out with Twist, since from Catwalk he has no impact as Con was smoked by Liquid.
It's 35 seconds, and it's JKS seemingly looking to lead this charge. Rain will lock in on default, and there is nobody to come out from Palace. Can he hang on? Robs again into the kill feed. He turns it back, and Rain's gonna deliver. Off of a man disadvantage, they will give no ground, no openings, and no more chances barring this last. Team Liquid have gone all the way to the end of this half from an 11-1 start.
As well as if you in the halftime betted on FaZe, winning this match and game, you would have 18 times your money. A comeback like this does not often happen, so please watch the match yourself to see both how Liquid's CT side was and a round of the T side of FaZe I did not cover.
W.
Thank you for watching. Here are 2 videos YouTube told me you would like. Bye.